let's try to design our very own devil fruits. What I mean by this is, let's try and design our own powers within the restraints of the devil fruit system. And there is one idea in particular I've had for some time now. But first, a bit of backstory. We all remember Long Ring Longland, right? It's that one arc which everyone swears is bad, but it's actually quite decent. I swear, some of y'all just hate whimsy and fun. But anyways, the villain of that arc is Captain Foxy, who is just a very silly man. But Captain Foxy is interesting because he falls into that one category of not a bad devil fruit, but a bad devil fruit user. Because he has the slow fruit, which allows him to slow down objects. And this power is actually pretty good. But Foxy is not bad at using it, but he's also not great at using it either. So I was thinking, why not try and do the reverse? Meaning, let's try and design a fast fruit. So by nature, a fast fruit is going to be very similar to a slow fruit. It would be a paramecia type and also a beam type devil fruit. And when I say beam, I mean how some devil fruits tend to use beams as their primary form of offense. I think the best example is the Love fruit. The fast fruit's primary power is that anything which touches its beam will move way faster. And this affects everything, objects, people, and even the user himself. There are some obvious strengths here. For example, moving faster means you can pack a much stronger punch. But there are some obvious weaknesses too. For example, the user needs to be very careful because if they get themselves, they might get quickly disoriented. When I imagine what the beam would look like, I do envision something similar to the slow fruit, but perhaps a different shape and a different color. Maybe instead of it being purple circles, it can be blue squares. Now we can move on to applications. There are obvious applications like increased speed. Let's say that the user makes a beam and then walks through it. This would give them a short moment of increased agility. Moreover, if they're able to do that repeatedly and keep the momentum going, they could move across battlefields like a speedster. Also, more speed just means more power. If a swinging sword or a speeding bullet or a thrown punch was to pass through the fast fruit's beam, then it would just make a lot more damage in the end. The bottom line is, this fruit basically turns you and anyone you want into a speedster. And I also imagine you can change the speed according to how much you want it to be. One really cool application I saw Captain Foxy do was he turned his beams into a sword by funneling it into a grip. A slow sword seems very powerful, but a fast sword might seem a bit unorthodox, but there might be some actual good applications for it. For example, increased exposure to the fast beam, whether it be an actual human being or an object, might cause it to age very rapidly, very similar to the age fruit. But unlike the age fruit, there's only one way it can go, forward. Meaning when you get old, that's just kind of it, you're just old forever. So fighting a fast sword after a long period of time might just cause you to just become an old man, and that's how you die. Another very interesting application of the slow fruit was when Captain Foxy used mirrors to bounce off the beams. This was mainly used to trick up enemies, but I always thought this application could be very deadly if used accordingly. For example, many mirrors all placed together could cause the enemy to be trapped in a maze of beams. And far more deadly if you had for example, a disco ball and put the beam through it, the beams would just shine everywhere. This fact could actually be far more useful for the fast fruit, as for example, the user could simply use a mirror to shine the beam on themselves and increase their speed. This power is also very useful for other applications. For example, if you're in a ship or a car or even a bike, you can now increase your speed dramatically. Those were the applications. So let's move on to something a bit more complex. Awakenings. The extent of awakenings are still very unclear in the One Piece world. However, it seems to be that for paramecias, awakenings allow you to use your power to a much larger extent. So, in my eyes, this means that the user of the fast fruit can now permanently increase the speed of anything he wants, which means no more beams. They can now just do it whenever they want. This increase in power would be dramatic. Now the user would just straight up be a speedster. They can now just move at any speed they want, and there wouldn't be any upper limit to how fast they can go, which means that now they can move and hit at either Mach speed or the speed of light. To give you a proper example of what this would look like, it would be very similar to Gear Shift. This might be a spoiler for My Hero Academia, so skip if you want to, but in the anime, Deku has this new power called Gear Shift, where he can essentially change the speed of anything he wants to. And also, I'm pretty sure that Gear Shift just made its introduction in the anime like last week, so go check it out. There are other great uses for this awakened fruit. For example, it can also affect the speed of other objects. And as I mentioned before, this would be very similar to aging up people and objects. But now the user can just do it whenever they want. And yeah, that's the basic design for the fast fruit. If you have your own ideas for this fruit, or you wish to change something, let me know in the comments. Also, if you like this video, let me know and I'll make more. But anyways, thanks for watching. Peace.